Greetings summoners, my name is Annoy, and I got this name because my voice is super annoying by default. Just like Trinity from the last video, I am speaking in place of my owner for amusement. I do apologize for taking quite a while to put this video up, but I'm taking it slow since there isn't anyone who is expecting more videos from this channel yet. Anyways, this video will be a lot shorter since the introductions were presented in the last video already, so I will most likely get straight to the point as I'm sure most of you will not be able to handle my voice for long, heh. No subtitles this time around because I got lazy. If requested, I will put them up. Being a jungler is like being a babysitter. You're often expected to keep an eye on the lanes and act accordingly when a teammate needs assistance. But what if you don't like being ordered around? Simply do a triangle run so that everyone will be satisfied. A triangle run is basically ganking each lane once. It's called a triangle run because if, for example, you're heading towards top lane from base to gank, you will then gank mid afterwards, then bot, and then recall, basically forming a triangular route. It obviously won't look like a triangle if you have to recall in between ganking the free lanes, but you get the point. What this does is teammates are less likely to whine about not getting any ganks from you, which means less chance of raging and more cooperation from the team. Your teammates are most likely going to need your help anyway, so if you do triangle runs every now and then, it will save them the trouble of asking you, allowing them to focus more in the laning phase. It is true that these runs will put you behind in minion kills, but in my opinion, junglers don't need that much gold to be effective in ganks as long as you give teammates a good amount of time to prepare for your ganks. Besides, you never know when one of those runs might just win you the game that much faster. Although we want to minimize the possibility of raging, it may not be possible when it comes to buffs. Usually the blue buff is given to your mid laner and the red buff to your ranged AD. What if, for example, your mid laner wants the blue buff, but they are doing horribly and you feel that they will end up giving the blue buff to the enemy? Either take the buff yourself, or give it to someone else who is doing better on the team and can benefit greatly from it. Your mid laner probably won't be too pleased with either of those decisions and might start raging, but if you simply cannot risk giving the enemy an advantage, then don't. The fact that you are the jungler means you have control over the flow of the game, since you are usually the playmaker of the team. With that being said, raging is something you will never have full control over, but making the right decisions will at least increase your chances of winning. The Dragon. When trying to secure this objective by yourself or with your team, it's important to make sure the enemy jungler is dead or somewhere far away from it to prevent it from being stolen by chance. It is also important to have your mid and bot laners push their lanes before getting them to help kill the dragon. This way, the enemies won't have enough time to push back and destroy your turrets before your teammates return to their lanes. If your support doesn't ward the area around the dragon, ward it yourself. I mean, it's not the end of the world if the enemy team gets the dragon, but if spending 75 gold can reduce the chances of that happening, I think any jungler would pay that price. As mentioned in the last video, it's all about improvising constantly on the spot. The reason why it's better to destroy turrets rather than killing the dragon is because your teammates in the lane with the destroyed enemy turret can freely roam and help other lanes, producing more winning potential. Majority of the time I just gank instead of counter jungle, so I can't really give much insight on that subject, but I would most likely only counter jungle if my champion has some form of escape, like Kha'Zix's E ability or Gragas's E ability. Since it's already a huge risk to counter jungle, you might as well have some backup plan if something goes wrong. I wouldn't counter jungle too much since you could be using that time to gank for your teammates instead. But if the enemy jungler is dead and your teammates don't need assistance for the time being, then go for it. Just don't die to jungle monsters while doing it. Just to recap, here are the key points in this video. As usual, like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts. Once again, this is Annoy, and I won't see you guys on the Fuse of Justice.